Hello, hi Gucci Gremlins. So for the cosplay breakdown, usually I do like a essay on here. And I keep getting asked a lot by people online and in my DMs how I made my princess eye wings. I could try to do like a essay sort of thing and explain that to you guys, and just probably do a very chaotic job at it. But I figured the best way to explain it is to show you guys the sketch draft thing that I made of it, because I feel like just orally explaining it is going to be much easier for you guys to A, understand, and B, try to replicate. I'm going to bullet point and like talk about some stuff down below, so definitely check that out. But I just figured this was the easiest way to do the breakdown this month. So this is my sketchbook. This is where I draw things, bad things, and sketch out some cosplay stuff. So here are the sketches that I made for the wings. So the wings are primarily composed of two parts. The corset, which is just a like waist trainer corset, and the wings. The wings are shaped like this, and they are comprised of wire. So it's one wire, like thick like wire, I believe it's 16 gauge wire, that's in the shape of the wings, and then they loop here like into like a little like loop-de-loop, and then cross, so it goes down here, loops, and crosses over into the rest of the wing. And that's how it is flexible and can move and bend with me. So this part where it loops just goes shoved in the waist trainer. So whatever garment I'm wearing with these wings has to either have a slit cut in the back, usually it's horizontally just to fit the thing in there. It literally just goes shoved in, and that's it. So when I made the wings, I had the wires bent into shape, and then I layered some other wire underneath it to make sure that it held, especially in areas where we have joints, so that it can articulate best, and not like potentially break or spring. And then since I used multiple different wires in certain areas, I then duct taped the entire thing together, the entire thing. I heavily duct taped it here because this is what would be against my skin and on my back. And since this part will be like making contact with my skin, I then took some, I think, Gorilla Glue and some old fabric that was like an old like nylon, I believe, pillowcase, and just glued that on to this part so that it, when it's on my back, it doesn't hurt or scrape my skin, and it slides in really easily. And then comprising the wings and making the wings, I then laid out, I put fabric on it and folded the fabric over the wire frame and glued it down, and then glued the edges. And I just had like a basic like rough idea of how big I wanted the wings to be with the fabric. And then once the fabric had dried to all of the wings, the base, the metal base, I then bought entire spools, and I'll link it in the description in the post, of feathers, and it's just like a ribbon of feathers more or less, and glued that down with contact cement, rubber cement, sorry. So all of this is pretty much all rubber cemented together, or duct taped together. And I just layered it starting from the biggest feathers on the bottom and working my way up. And then for the top part, I finally cut up a bunch of feathers and did a spray adhesive, which I don't recommend doing. Honestly, I'd recommend getting like a feather boa and gluing it on the top part of the wings to make it look like natural and feathery and pretty, and then trimming that. And then that's pretty much how I made my wings. I'm gonna pull them out of their bag to show you guys a bit more up close and personal. Views of them. I store them in this trash bag, and then I wedge it in the back of my line of clothes. It's very securely tied off. This is like an industrial size trash bag, so they're not going anywhere. The nice thing about them being made of wire is I can bend them and shape them to, in theory, fit whatever I want them to fit. And they also have a nice movement to them. I think the movement is very, very nice. So here they are, the chicken wings. Being birthed from a trash bag. So you can tell which side goes. So this is the base that I was talking about. This goes into my corset. This part is what faces not my back. And then this part faces my back, and this part is where you guys can see most of what I was talking about. So here's the wire base. Here's all of the duct tape that's keeping the different kinds of wires together. And then you can see the fabric. I used red fabric underneath it. And then here's the top with the baby feathers, not very well glued down. The bottom feathers are these large rooster feathers. And then the string of feathers don't get caught on stuff. Sometimes you can see them, they flip up, but see, it's just a row of feathers and you just glue it down, or in theory you could sew it. I'm lazy and don't like sewing, so I glue a lot of my things because I'm chaotic. And yeah, so they articulate and move and look pretty great. Yeah, these are the chicken wings. Down below I'll have everything linked that I used so you can make your own chicken wing. And yeah, they were fairly inexpensive to make, in the sense of like most of what you're spending your money on is the feathers, and honestly just buying them in the rows will save you time and is not that much more expensive than buying giant bulk things of feathers. So, and I would definitely recommend the rubber cement because that's just going to really adhere everything. And then here's the base. It's nylon, so it's not going to hurt my skin. And then whenever it's time to put the chicken wings back, I always wrap them like this. And like I said before, part of the beauty of the chicken wings is you can mold them and shape them however you want. They're great at conventions because you don't have to really worry about anyone hurting them. You just put it back in the trash bin and secure it up. So that is the best tutorial I can think of for the chicken wings. I want to probably remake them again sometime in the future, probably not anytime soon, but I want to try to have them articulate. There's some really good cosplayers that have wing tutorials, especially since Hawks is so popular right now. So I'll definitely link some tutorials that I will definitely be following and looking at for whenever I remake these things. But until then, goodbye. There's Rachel. Hello. Rachel's coming home to see me making a video in the cosplay closet. She is a very confusion.